Well, today guys, we're going to be attempting to recreate and emulate Jim Root's signature iconic guitar tone. Let's get into it. So what is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. My name is Ray. I'm a guitar player here on YouTube, and I sincerely thank you for clicking on this video because I've been wanting to do this video for a long time, and here it is. So you guys all know how much I love Jim Root, right? I don't think I'm telling any tales out of school right now. You guys are aware of that. We all know it. But I've always wanted to do this, an official video, try to recreate his tone, and I think I can do it. One of the main reasons, Jim's tone has stayed pretty much the same, or very similar, for quite some time. He's been an EMG guy, a mahogany body, bolt-on, Fender guy, as well as an orange artist. So I think I can make it happen. So as many of you guys know, I had the absolute honor and privilege to hang out with Jim this past summer, talk all things guitar and gear, had a chance to check out his rig, his orange rock reverb, his Friedman that he was using at the time. He just got it at the Camden show, so I had the honor and privilege of checking that out. And there's a lot of other videos out there with his orange rock reverb, showing his settings, what he likes to use, etc., etc. So I've compiled all this information, and I want to do it in a video. So right now, I'm going to grab my Jim Root Strat, the white one with the ebony board, and then I'm going to grab my orange rock reverb Mark II 50-watt head, going right into my Universal Audio aux box, and then we'll get after it. All right, guys, so let's head on into that. All right, guys, so here we are. Here's my makeshift rig to try to emulate Jim Root's guitar tone. I think I got some pretty significant gear that will help out, but real quick, I'll go over the specs. This is my Jim Root Stratocaster loaded with an EMG 8160 combination, ebony fretboard. Jim Root uses ebony fretboards exclusively now. He did have a maple neck on his white Stratocaster and his OG white Jazzmaster, but now he's since gone to solely ebony. He just likes to sound a lot more than the maple. So this is what this guitar has: locking tuners, hardtail, 12 to 16 compound fretboard radius, 22 jumbo frets, EMG 8160 if I didn't say that already, mahogany body, and going right into an orange rock reverb 50 Mark II. Now, Jim has used the Mark II in the past, but he prefers the 100 over the Mark II, but he prefers the Mark III over both of them. So I had the Mark II 50. It's not the ideal amplifier for Jim Root, but it is a rock reverb nonetheless. And although it is only a 50-watt head, it does have the very similar characteristics that Jim Root's tone has. Now, I also have in the effects loop a TC Electronic noise gate. He uses a Boss NS2, but a noise gate kind of does the same exact thing. Regardless, it just gets rid of the noise. And I have, just for some added flavor, a Fortin 33 in front of the amplifier. Now it is currently off, which I'll demo in a second, but I do believe in some tones and some songs in Slipknot's career, there has to be an overdrive. I'm almost certain there's an overdrive or a boost in front of the amplifier. I never really have seen live Jim Root use an overdrive, other than he has a GT-OD in his pedal rack, or in his pedal drawer, but he has said on certain interviews that he really doesn't use it that much. It's just only if it's needed, if the amp isn't saturating enough on a particular night. But he really doesn't use overdrives, which I find really surprising, especially for a modern metal band. Anyway, this is my start-off sound for the Jim Root tone emulated video. So right off the bat, I think it sounds pretty good. It sounds very similar to Jim Root. Now let's talk about the amplifier. Now I've seen a lot of interviews and a lot of rig rundowns of Jim Root stuff when he has his orange rock reverb, and obviously I had the opportunity to do one myself, and the EQ is very basic. The EQ itself on an orange rock reverb is very basic, only 3 bass, mid, and treble, and they're all pretty much at or around noon. So on my amplifier, I have the bass at 6, mids at 4, treble at 6, and that's pretty much it. And then the gain is turned way up because an orange rock reverb, from at least from my understanding or my findings, it saturates very, very late in the gain. And what I mean by that is most high gain amplifiers, like if you turn it at just around noon, you have plenty of gain, like an EVH or a PV, or something like that. But with orange rock reverb, the sweet spot is when the gain is almost at 10. That's really interesting, and that's really makes sense because Jim really likes to have a saturated guitar sound. He always loves being overly saturated, and when we got to talk about his signature pickups that are coming out, he wanted a medium output active pickup, a retroactive, but he didn't want to have a full-on high gain, high output pickup because it would be redundant and overkill having a high gain amplifier with a lot of gain engaged and high output pickups. He wanted to be in the middle, he said, where medium output, medium to high output, but if he wanted to clean it up and do some blues, he could, but if he wanted to go insane, he could do that as well. Pretty interesting. Another thing that's really interesting about a rock reverb is just how it almost has like a very Mesa Boogie type of sound, where it has this really creamy and crunchy saturation. I mean, listen if I do like some sort of add 9 power chord shape. It's not very articulate and doesn't have a lot of attack, but it just has a nice smooth type of voicing. It's really interesting. Something that an orange and like a Mesa Boogie has, and it's not weird but unique that Jim likes orange, and the fact that Slipknot is a drop-tuned modern metal sound, and they're not using the traditional like Randall Angle EVH. You know what I mean? Orange, although it is a high output amplifier, the rock reverb, it's really not geared, at least in my eyes, and not voiced too much like a modern type of sound. So it's cool and unique that Jim uses an orange as opposed to like a VH4 or something that's much more, no doubt, 100% metal. So pretty cool. I'm gonna engage the Fortin 33, and I'm gonna show you why in a second. I think in the more modern type of Slipknot albums and records, there's definitely an overdrive or a boost in front of the amplifiers. Songs like the Negative One, and even Before I Forget. I mean, Before I Forget's close to almost 20 years, or like 15, 16 years old now. But I mean, just that opening riff, even though Mick's playing the opening, Jim paired with that. I'd be very surprised if there wasn't an overdrive or a boost in front of his Bogner Uberschall that he used for that album. I forgot how to play Dead Memories there. But even stuff like that, I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's a lot easier to grab the pinch harmonics and stuff like that. And even like songs like the Killing Name. I mean, listen to it without an overdrive or a boost. Very muddy. So again, I think at least for certain songs, he definitely had some sort of overdrive or boost just to get that attack and that articulation. Oops. I'm not warmed up. I forgot how to play that. But all in all, man, I think this setup right here, just having an orange rock reverb, having EMGs with a mahogany body, doesn't really necessarily have to be a Strat or even with an ebony board, but I think the EMG compressed sound, the bubbly sound of an EMG, paired with the creaminess of an orange rock reverb, and then the optional boost and or overdrive will get you certainly 95% there. And I think the other 5% is, in fact, that I'm not Jim Root. But I'm doing my very best, and I think I came up with something pretty good. So guys, that's going to do it for today's video. If you liked it, if you found it educational, informational, or if you just had a good time watching it, please like and share, and hit that subscribe button if you're brand new to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. Guys, I think I want to continue to do this series. If you guys in fact liked it, leave down below what type of artist or what type of sound you guys want to hear me emulate. It could be an album or it can be an individual guitar player. Leave it down below and I'll do my very best to make it happen. Guys, a sincere thank you to all my patrons and everybody watching at home. I'm out of here. Stay metal, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.